Guys, welcome back to another Frog Pants video. Now, here today I will be showing you a new tank model that I have made. It is a light tank and it has these fenders, I think it's called. It has these things that go to the side but serve no real purpose. But it really looks quite good, so I've chosen to have it like that, as well as it takes pretty much just makes it a bit more different from these two that don't exactly have those fenders and just showcase the whole track. So no, it doesn't really do that if you go from the top of it, which I believe is very cool, as well as makes it a lot more different. This tank is also a lot more flat in the front. This doesn't have this curvature right down here. But what it does has is a bit of extra armor. But of course, if it just gets struck here, more or less in the center, or around here, like right above this extra armor, it will probably get taken down if it is shot by this guy, or this guy, or even an anti-tank cannon then just gone from wherever it gets shots from. Now, I've also made a very nice engine. Well, I guess exhaust or whatever you call it. Yeah. As I've also made it slanted, which I believe gives it a more nice design. It doesn't just make it a box. Because this design is more or less just a box, slap a turret on it, and something at the end, and a bit of in the front, and then some tracks and wheels and such. And then you made a tank. That's more or less what I did with that one. And it was not on purpose, but I did do it like that, more or less, so yeah. I'm also using an actual Lego piece here, like by these two, where I've used some fake Lego, and the tracks are also fake Lego, which is why if I don't apply really any pressure, it could choose to just not grip on, like there, and then it could just pop off. Yep. It has a 50 caliber machine gun right here in the front, right there by the driver's view port, I guess you'd call it. Right. The turret is placed on one of these, which is why it can be a bit wobbly, but I believe personally it gives it a bit more of an alive feel than the turret itself. I've used a different type of building technique, as I've used these two outer plates here to connect these two to the actual turret. Or they got into the actual turret, so yeah. I personally think that it was an interesting way of building it, as that means that it's less blocky than these two fucks, which then means that I can add more texture. In the future I will probably be using this technique a lot more, as I really do just love it. Here on the back I also have something that you would see on these, or even really like every other tank of World War II, more or less. But this tank is supposed to be a light tank, or infantry support vehicle, more or less. So it has almost an autocannon. I think I'll just keep it as a normal cannon. This guy already has an autocannon, and this guy sometimes has an autocannon. Also, I'm at this bit in the front here by this tank, which really just gives it more of this kind of design, you know? Like a bit of an end piece to make it resemble a bit more, as it is just a copy of that one. Yeah. This tank design here by the guns here was inspired by the German Panzer II, as, well, to be honest, it's just a very unique design that you don't really see in other World War II tanks, with where the tank turret is very like low profile. Well, I mean, you do see that, but not exactly with the way that the gun is, you know, where it's like a more like rounded design. Usually it's like something else, you know. Can't exactly explain it, but because of the fact that I chose not to do it like that, where it's completely flat, I've chosen to use some other things to be able to have this while not showing any like real forms of holes, which meant that I had to find some other pieces as well. Now, it's really simple to actually build this turret. See, it's hollow, the first part, and just 2 of these connector pieces, 3 there, to be able to hold it all together. There's nothing else to hold it down here, because then it would fuck up the cannon here. But of course, if you choose to have another one of these pieces, then you can of course probably place something there. Maybe, I haven't tried it quite yet, even though because I've really just more or less built it. I built it yesterday. And so, let's see, it's connected via a few studs. Same with this one, connected with one stud out to do so that it doesn't look as if it's in, that this gun here isn't directly inside of this piece here. Then I have another one here, so that it doesn't look as bad when you place this one on it. Yeah, this more or less the turret design. And I've chosen to use one of these ingot pieces here. Naturally. This is how the piece looks to hold it. You probably find it in every other Lego thing as well, because it's a very common piece of what I know, since I have quite a few of them. So yeah, connected with this slope. And because of the fact that it's only connected by these 2 things, you can, in the case that you're making a stop motion animation or something like that, you can actually play around with the turret a lot more, which if you just barely like actually make it sit while on these pieces, you can make it look as if it's got hit, which is very nice when you're actually doing these stop motion videos, as then you're able to show a bit more character when it gets hit. Like, oh my god, it just got hit by a tank shell that penetrated and then blew up because it had HE, or it was HE, or just a normal anti-tank. Then it just, you see, there's now a hole. You can also put in a fire piece in that hole, which thus makes it look as if it got hit even more, or as if it just randomly chose to blow up. So yeah. Oh my god, there's a tank aiming at that tank. What is it going to do? Absolutely nothing, because it can't even penetrate this, really. Yeah. This tank sucks, because it's a light tank. I mean, it's agile, and if it can get to the sides here, it can most definitely penetrate. Or if it comes to the side of these turret here, on the back, then it can most definitely also penetrate. And you can also just do that, boom, there's no longer a hole there. And now because it can move very smoothly without any real problems. Same with this. Though sadly the 50 cal cannot move because it's just connected via these hole pieces, via one giant hole piece. It's a longer black thing than with one of these pieces here. Just upside down, I put in there, and there is another one here to be able to do so that it actually goes in further, so that it isn't like 2 meters out of the actual tank, because that would be a bit weird. It already looks a bit wonky, but personally I still love this design. It may look a bit fat in the terms of the height. What? It works. It's more or less just as tall. Really not that big of a difference. But it's a light tank and it can go yeah. But it's also smaller generally by one stud. But in reality it's much less wide in the actual hull here. It's only 4, meanwhile these are 5. So yeah, that would be all. Goodbye. Also, let me know about your opinion about this new fine, mighty design of a tank. Oh yeah, and I forgot to say, these parts here are ventilation. They can just turn them around if they don't want ventilation, or if they're in combat. Then there is not this ginormous slope here. Or if they need to eject a shell as well. Yeah, goodbye.